I got the idea of writing about angels from a few different places, really. One was from the characters themselves, because I had had these particular characters in mind for a long time, and I always knew that Willow was a teenage psychic. She's 16 when the story starts, and that Alex was the assassin who had been hired to destroy her because she's seen something that she wasn't supposed to see. And so that was the sort of basic story idea, which I really loved the feel of, but it wasn't right if the story was a romance, because if he's an actual hitman, then that doesn't leave much scope to have a happy ending. And so I started thinking in terms of the paranormal. Could there be a sort of paranormal twist to the whole thing, that perhaps she's seen something paranormal that she shouldn't have, and he's some sort of paranormal assassin instead? I was thinking about demons for some time, but that didn't really feel right to me. It just didn't have that spark that I was looking for. And then one day I was in a bookstore and I saw this display of nonfiction books about angels. And it just suddenly occurred to me, what if the angels are here, but they're not what we think they are? They have their own agenda, they're not good and kind the way we think. And that really sort of brought the whole story idea together, because I suddenly realized that, of course, Willow is half angel. That's the reason why she's psychic, and Alex is an angel killer. He's one of the few who knows the truth. To tell you a little bit about the main characters and what happens in the story. Alex is an angel killer, so he's had a very strange upbringing. His father was a CIA agent who was one of the first to realize what the angels are doing in our world. He started a camp in the desert where he trained angel killers, including his two sons. So that was how Alex was raised. It was in the desert with guns and learning how to drive at an early age, and learning how to fight angels. So by the time we meet him at age 17 in the story, the angels have destroyed most of his family, and he's really driven. This is what he does. He destroys angels. Willow, when we first meet her, is a 16-year-old psychic known as Queen Weird at her high school. She doesn't really care what anyone thinks about her. She likes to fix cars for a hobby. She wears vintage clothing. Her best friend Nina is in constant despair that Willow just does not care what anyone thinks. When she first meets Alex, there really couldn't be more different, and she has no idea that she's half angel. It takes Alex to actually tell her this. Why is the paranormal so perpetually fascinating, especially in teen fiction? I think there's a lot of reasons, but I think it's difficult to sort of look at one reason and say this is the reason why we're all so fascinated by it. I don't think it's a really new thing. I think it's been around for a long time, but we are seeing a huge burgeoning of this at the moment. I think one thing from the teenage point of view that might be so intriguing about it is that usually this fiction is from the girl's point of view, and usually it's the boy main character, the sort of love interest, who is the other in some way. He's a vampire or a werewolf or a fallen angel. And there's this sort of darkness that has to be tamed. He's someone who has a lot of danger to him. He could cause deadly harm, but we, through our love, can tame him. So he's like the sort of ultimate bad boy. So I think that there is something very, very intriguing about that. With Angel Burn, though, it is a bit different, because Willow, the main character, is female, and she's the one who has this sort of power to her instead. Of course, Alex, the main character, is wholly human, but he is a sort of bad boy himself, so there is that. But I don't know, I think it is a very, very intriguing genre, just for that reason. I think, too, with the teenage years, you're starting to grow and change a bit. And so there is this sense of the other, and you're sort of leaving behind who you once were, you're becoming someone else. And the whole idea of a character who's not quite human, who's on the fringes of things, I think it's just very appealing. To tell you a little bit about book two, which is called Angel Fire. At the end of book one, we leave Alex and Willow. They're just about to go to Mexico, which they're hoping is going to be a safe place where they can continue the fight against the angels. And certainly Alex is really concerned that he has a place of safety to be with the girl he loves and still fight, but he really wants to make sure that she's kept safe. By the start of book two, things really don't work out the way they planned, because even though the characters want to be kept safe, that's really not that interesting in terms of drama and tension. So they need to be right in the thick of things, basically. So at the start of book two, Willow has a dream that says they need to go to Mexico City. And she doesn't know what they're going to find there, but she sees 12 shining angels, and they suddenly explode in this huge burst of light, and she hears the sounds of millions of angels screaming. So she knows that it's really important. They must go there. It feels like this could be a real strike against the angels. But she also has a sense that things aren't going to be very happy for them if they go.